between like professional growth and personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like they have to be working in tandem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of times the things they're doing are working fine, but it might just be you.
Yeah. It's about having that awareness to know, oh, I need to grow. Because what my idea is growing, but I'm not growing with my idea.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you start getting irritated at your dream. Like, damn, this is your dream, and you're getting mad at it. You know, because you're not going through the necessary personal development steps you need to take in order for you to grow along with your dream.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you got to share your dream too.
Yep.
Like. I that's what I had to learn the hard way. Like, I can't keep hoarding my dream to myself. I have to share this idea with other people in order to see it maximize its capabilities.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the lesson I learned when I got burnt out.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Rubino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know. Just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
What it do?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuning to the UpNUp Podcast on the UpNUp Network. I'm your host, Rubino.
And I'm DJ man.
What's up, boss? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Chilling
like a villain?
Chilling like a villain, man. How are you?
I'm blessed, bro.
Yes, sir.
Blessed, grateful, feeling good.
Yeah.
Good energy in the room.
Yes, sir.
Good people in the room. Shout out to the team. Shout out to everybody in the room, obviously. And yeah, if this is your first time tuning in, as I stated, this is the UpNUp Podcast. This is the podcast where we're focused on cultivating culture. We do that by providing amazing stories of individuals, groups, movements, the hustlers, the shakers, people who are just breaking down barriers, right?
Yes, sir.
Carving lanes and making a way not just for all of us currently here, but for the next generation coming from behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you first-time listeners, welcome to the family. And for the consistent supporters and viewers, salute to you guys. We love you guys. We thank you guys. And you guys are always family to us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm blessed, bro. Feeling good. I'm excited because, you know, every episode is special. Every episode matters, right? Because everybody's story matters. And today's guest is someone who I would say is definitely someone I would describe as a resilient, multi-hyphenate leader, right?
Yeah.
He's definitely a culture cultivator who's keeping everything he's doing on the up and up.
Yes, sir.
Today we're joined by the award-winning author, founder, and creator of the impactful Seattle Urban Book Exchange, which actually aims to uplift, amplify, and provide writers of color with the platform to spread their work, you know, spread their brilliance, spread their greatness. And along with his contributions within the worlds of literature, as well as, you know, even serving the youth within the performing arts with acts on stage, you know, this is someone who is consistently showing up for community, right?
Mm-hmm.
In many different ways, in a multi-hyphenated way, and, you know, someone who's consistently pouring in and trying to build and trying to give back. And I love that we're able to do this now. Like he said, it's right on time, right?
Yeah.
Right on time. So without further ado, let's get straight to him, man. Our guest is none other than a good brother himself, Jeffery Cheatham II. Can we get a round of applause? Give it up.
Yeah.
Give it up. How you doing, brother?
I appreciate that. Good. How y'all doing, man?
Good,
How y'all
good,
doing?
man.
Good, bless, man.
Appreciate it, man. I'm really on this damn show. I really love it.
Come on, man. Come on.
good.
We're happy to have you, man.
I'm
Yeah,
happy,
man.
happy to be here. Happy to be here. I'm gonna try to not do my radio jazz voice because it's hard to do this in the setup right now. Looking at the flames of this candle. Like, everybody all right? Everybody good?
Hey, man, you know, hey, it's your world, bro. It's your world.
That's our world, man.
I think the listeners would appreciate it, though. You know?
Okay.
A little soothing,
I'll
a little soothing.
do a couple radio spots.
Yeah, there we go. There we
Welcome
go.
back to 107.9 Smooth Jazz, and this is Jeffery Cheatham here in the UpNUp Podcast. I know. Okay.
They're all turning like this.
Turn it. Yeah.
Nah, man. Thank you for being here, first and foremost, man. Like I said, it's long overdue, but right on time.
Right on time.
Now, we always start every episode with the quote of the day, something to just get the vibe right, get the conversation started. Brother man man of the quotes.
Sir. All right. So the quote of the day, short and sweet, man. But the quote is, "Quality is not an act; it's a habit."
I love that.
I like that one.
I like that one. Who said that?
Love that
Aristotle.
Aristotle. Shout out to
Throwback.
Aristotle.
Yeah.
one. Oh,
Socrates and Plato and
yeah. Aristotle.
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 Shout out to all the Greek African students.
Yep.
That's a good one. Can you run that one back?
Yeah. So the quote is, "Quality is not an act; it is a habit."
What do you think about that quote?
The first thing that pops in my head is this consistency. quality is consistency. You know what I mean? And it's hard because you don't know that you're living or serving in quality because you're immersed in it. Yeah. And usually somebody has to tell you that this is quality. But to you, it's just the everyday thing that you're doing. Yeah. And it's in your heart. So, of course, you're not – it's hard to live outside what you're moving towards, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's the first thing I think about is just consistency.
Yeah. Right? I like the part of it saying it's not an act, you know, because I think nowadays, you know, things can be performative, you know, and it's like it looks good, but is it quality, you know? And I think there's a difference in that.
Yeah. And also – quality to some people could be subjective. So how do you define quality? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because what's quality to you might not be quality to you. So you got to know what world of quality do you want to live in, or how does that look to you? You know?
You gotta live it.
Yeah.
When I think about it, it's like the effort, you know? Yeah. Like quality is really the effort you put into something. It's not just going to hit like the first time you do it. It's not just going to be great quality. It's like you keep refining it with that consistency that you're talking about. So
absolutely.
That's good, man. So Jeffrey, man, you know, our episodes and our platform is built on storytelling, right? Giving people a chance to tell their stories. But I always love to start episodes with kind of getting a gauge on seasons. I'm really big on just figuring out seasons and what seasons people are in. So for you, how would you describe this current season you're in?
Man, fruitful. It's a very fruitful season. I'm noticing a lot of things that I put work in, that I've been investing in, is starting to really come. I want to say harvest, but I don't want to use it incorrectly. But I'm starting to reap a lot of things that I've been sowing. And it's not even materialistic. We were talking about earlier, the quality of people, my quality of living, my quality of interactions with my community. I'm really starting to accept the responsibility. We was talking about that earlier about responsibility. Yep. So yeah, it's really fruitful. Really, really fruitful.
I like that. It's a great season to be in.
Yeah, definkind.
Yeah, people like fruit. People love fruit.
So I know we touched on that right now, the season, but kind of want to take it back, talk about your upbringing, growing up.
So I grew up here. I'm one of the rare Seattle natives, but I grew up in the Central District. I grew up in the Central District, 30th and Cherry. And recently I just accepted the fact that I had a good childhood, you know, because one of the things that I had to fight against is comparing my upbringing with somebody else's. Yeah. You know, like I had a friend who, you know, had a rich dad, rich mom, had all these lavish things. And then, of course, my parents are, you know, middle class, kind of stuff like that. But I didn't appreciate that because I kept wishing I had my friend's life, right? So when I got to this age, I realized, like, damn, my parents did the best they could and still gave me everything they could. And they did it based off what they knew. You know what I'm saying? So I can't fault them because they didn't get the opportunity to go to college or they didn't get the opportunity to graduate high school. But yet they still put food on the plate, kept the bills paid, and gave me clothes. And that's a blessing because there's a lot of people who do not have that right now. And I was just being grateful for that. So that was my childhood. The childhood I finally accepted the truth of what my childhood was. Grew up in the CD. My grandmother is my heart, Big Mama, Ollie Bell Thomas. And I grew up a very creative kid, you know, playing football, playing video games, drawing, writing, doing all that stuff. Yeah. And a lot of that I owe to the Central District. You know what I'm saying? It provided a really safe space for me. Of course, the CD is what the CD is, but I didn't feel in danger at all, though. You know what I'm saying?
It felt like home.
It felt like home. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like me and some of my homies, we could just walk from Cherry all the way down to John Street, just rolling, mobbing down there. Yeah. Play football. I'm trying to make sure I'm not trying to go all over the place.
It's all good.
But yeah, a lot of it was being creative, like I say, playing football, writing stories, but a lot of it was watching TV, you know, watching cartoons, watching TV shows, and just picturing myself one day being on there, like being seen. Yeah, that was pretty much my childhood.
I'm curious. First of all, I love how you touched on how, you know, you're reflective on your childhood and you're able to kind of like change your perspective on it. Yeah. I think anybody can relate to that. You know, there's things that we went through in the past that if we just look at it a little differently, you know, it means something more.
Yeah, so absolutely. And the TV shows, you know, like I don't know if I can say that, but the Huxtables. You know,
I don't know.
Okay, all right. So the Cosby Show, watching that show,
it's a good show.
Right,
it's a good show.
Right. I'm trying to keep the show on air. I don't want y'all to get canceled.
Independent media.
Y'all didn't give me the list of the banned words, so I'm sorry. No, but watching the Cosby Show, right? Like you see Heathcliff Huxtable, he's a doctor, and you see Claire Huxtable, she's a lawyer, and all their kids well behaved, they're all loving and da 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 da. And then you grow up the way, you know, I grew up. You be like, dang, I wish it was like that, where we can go and dance and play games and take trips. But it's TV, and like it really works on, you know, your self-conscious if your parents do not have the means to take care of you like that, and it can make you resentful, which I caught myself being from teenager to adulthood until I realized, wait a minute. When I became a father, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I'm doing the best I can. I wish my daughter would be on, you know. So that's what changed my perspective. But those TV shows, what it did was it helped me understand that it is possible to live a certain lifestyle if you choose to. Like, if you want to have a healthy family, you can. But it has to be the family that you create. It can't be the Huxtables. Yeah. It has to be you.
Your version of it.
Yeah, your version of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious. So, in doing some research, I did see that when you were younger, your dad had an influence on you in terms of introducing you to writing through comic books. Yeah. Right? Can you talk about that? Because I'm always curious about how people get started and like the early seeds being planted.
Man, my dad, like him and I, one of our things we used to do is we go to Safeway. We go to Safeway and we'll buy Archie comic books. You guys are familiar with Archie comic books?
Yeah.
So we'll buy Archie comic books like every day almost, or every week. Every week we go to Archie comic books and we'll buy them and we'll read them together. And that's how I got introduced to comic books, right? And after that, it was Spider-Man. Like my dad bought me like a big series of Spider-Man books. And one of the stories from the Spider-Man story that I fell in love with was a villain called the Jackal, right? And it was like an old college professor who was in love with Gwen Stacy. Like this is back in like I think the 70s, right? And after Gwen Stacy died, the Jackal blamed Spider-Man and got trained up, took some kind of magical potion and became a villain of Spider-Man. That's what made me fall in love with storytelling. But another thing that me and my dad shared too that really made me want to be a storyteller was professional wrestling. Me and my dad would watch WCW, WWF. And one of my first memories of wrestling was Ric Flair. Ric Flair, I saw him cutting the promo. He's talking shit. and then Johnny B. Good, which was like a little richer knockoff dude, would come right after and people would cheer him. So people booed Ric Flair and cheered Johnny B. Good, and that's why I realized what good guys and bad guys were. And that's why I was like, okay, I want people to react like that to what I create. Yeah. And that's what got me going on writing stories. Was professional wrestling and Archie comic books.
Man. Hey, shout out to the wrestling storylines though.
Yeah, man.
They definitely did a great. Whoever wrote, because you know that stuff was fake, but they definitely.
Wait, what? Sorry, no,
oh, here comes another realization right there.
Come on, dog. No, that stuff's real, bro. Like, Undertaker really had lightning coming out of his hands, bro.
Shout out WWF.
Once it became WWE, that got fake to me.
Yeah, I got hella fake.
Yeah, but staying on track though, because that was a good point. I am just kind of curious, like how, because we're gonna obviously lead up to, you know, when it became a professional career. But I'm always curious about how do you hone your skill and craft as a writer to get that confidence, like how as you were going on in life, like what was that like?
It was interesting because I went the self-publishing route, and I started when self-publishing wasn't as popular as it was today. A little bit about why, like, what got me into writing children's books. My daughter was 3 to 4 years old. She wanted a dinosaur book. And so I took her to the Barnes & Noble in Tukwila to get her dinosaur book. And I walked inside there. And when I was looking at the book covers, I don't know why it dawned on me then. I've been in this bookstore thousands of times, but it dawned on me, I didn't see anybody look like my kid. I didn't see nobody look like my daughter. And then I didn't see a dinosaur book. So I just put it together like, I'll write her a dinosaur book. But then I had to ask myself, how do you write a book? Yeah. Because that's not a conversation we have. About how to write a book. There's always somebody, you could go to the studio to make music, or you could train in the gym to play a sport, but how do you write a book? That conversation I never had and I never heard of. So for about 2.5 years, I did the whole DIY approach and researching on Google, researching on YouTube, finding out what a manuscript is, finding out what an editor was, finding out what a peer reader was. And when I learned that I wanted to do a picture book, now I got to find an illustrator. Okay, how do I know which quality is which, right? And so that's what got me going, man. This was like, I wanted to get cool dad points for my daughter.
Yeah.
That's all really got me going. In my process, I tried to mimic other writers like Stephen King, George R.R. Martin. Who else did I try to mimic? I also tried to mimic Quentin Tarantino because I love the way he writes films. But then I realized I'm not them dudes. I'm Jeff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me write the way I want to write, because that way the people who support me would know that it's authentically me that's writing this. And I'm not trying to be a Stephen King, Eric Jerome Dickey or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to just trust my own voice.
Yeah.
I just had to trust my own voice.
That's great.
I feel you. So I guess, I know you kind of touched on it, but like, what's like the A to Z, like do it yourself if you want to like publish a book?
Okay. That's how you self-publish a book. So first you got to write the story. So you write the story, and I would say the way that I write stories is I start from the end and work backwards.
Okay.
So I know where the destination that I want to go, and I work backwards from that. And there's a thing in the writing called the hero's journey formula. Are you guys familiar with this?
Nah.
So there's multiple steps, but I simplify it in 3 steps. Someone looking for something and is having difficulty finding it. So someone looking for something is having difficulty finding it.
Yeah.
You could apply that formula to any story, and it fits, right? Like, let's say Harry Potter, right? Someone, Harry Potter, looking for something, the Sorcerer's Stone, is having difficulty finding it. Voldemort.
Yep.
So that, like, you could apply that. So once you could answer those questions, you have a story, and you write that out, and you write it. And the one thing I always tell people is, do not fall for perfectionism. You're never going to get it right, and you'll edit yourself to death. It's called paralysis by analysis. You'll definitely fall for that.
Yeah.
So just trust in your mistakes.
Yeah.
And then you can get somebody to edit it, and then make sure that it fits, it flows, and then boom, you have a story. Now, if you want to do a picture book, now you got to find an illustrator. Many different sites you could go to do that. I typically like to go through a website called, I don't know, they didn't pay you guys for sponsorship, so I don't want to say their name.
We can go ahead.
Okay, all right. Ban words. So it's called the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators.org, and they have a directory of thousands of illustrators. I go through them. I find one that fits what I want them to do, and then we just connect that way.
Okay.
And that's how I do the book.
Okay. I kind of want to go back to the spark. I would like to call it the spark, where you walk into the bookstore and you realize, okay, there's no representation in this bookstore. So aside from obviously trying to do that for your daughter, like, was there like a greater responsibility that you saw? Like, oh, this is needed, largely, within the industry, or was it just kind of like, let me just do this for her?
No, it was. So I'm happy you asked that, because you just revealed something to myself. There was more to it. I was making my childhood happy. Because how earlier I mentioned that I wish that I could be on TV.
Yeah.
And because I look at being on TV back in the day was something that was like extraordinary. Right?
Oh yeah.
So when I had the motivation to write a children's book, I was like, okay, here's my chance to be extraordinary. And yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't just it was majority for my daughter, but it was more like making my childhood happy.
It's a win-win-win.
It's a win-win. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the times I read Archie, all the times I read Spider-Man, all the times I read Batman, all the times I read Dragon Ball Z. Now I'm in that world now with these writers now. Like, I'm a writer too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on the field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it feels good.
It feels so good. And the thing with me though was I was entering an industry that was not talked about at all in my neighborhood. Like, I didn't have conversations with people that talk about, I want to be a writer. I want to be an author. I want to be a screenplay. I want a screenwriter or stuff like that. So now I'm entering new territory where I'm alone. Like, I don't have a reference point. Like I was mentioning earlier, if I want to play football, play semi-pro, like, I could, go to the gym, like, hey, bro, you play semi-pro, blah, 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 blah. Or if I want to make music, I know rappers, da, 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 da. But who the hell do I talk to about writing a book?
Yeah.
So I had to figure it out on my own, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's real.
Which was terrifying, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're already kind of like, not want to say like hesitant, but you're kind of like not fully all the way in yet.
Yeah, no.
So like you're gonna need someone to help bring you even further, right?
Right.
So it's even harder when you're in that position to go and try to seek out people.
Exactly. Because like when I got started, I was like 26, 27. Okay. So I'm removed from like college, and at that point, I didn't know where I was going because my whole life growing up was football. Like you could not tell me I wasn't going to the NFL. You couldn't tell me that. Like, I knew I was going to the league. Yeah. I didn't care about nothing else. Yep. I didn't even care about school, bro. Like, I didn't be here. I'm going to do the 3-year little joint, get drafted, make my millions, and be good. Yeah. But then I got hurt, and I didn't invest in my education the way I should have. So when I was home, and it was 4 years removed from college, I literally was in no man's land. I didn't know where I was going. Like, I tried to do ITT Tech. I couldn't do it. Yeah. I tried to do all these jobs, but it just wasn't hitting. But I always knew that I was destined for more. But I didn't know what that more was until my daughter asked me to get her a dinosaur book. Yeah. And then now I'm on this show with y'all.
It's the timing of it all. It's the timing of it all. Now, this is actually like a common thing we do touch on the show, which is when you go from kind of enjoying what you're doing to it becoming professional. And now a lot of other elements kick in, even whether it's industry, business, whatever the case is. Like, how was it navigating that transition of like, okay, now I'm not just fulfilling my childhood needs, but now I'm like, this is legit, and I gotta like learn some new stuff. What was that like?
It was scary. Yeah. Because when I started helping people, I didn't want to make it a business because it was like a negative connotation with businesses, right? Yeah. Like capitalism, right? But I realized, and I'm going to keep it a buck, I had bills to pay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I want to make sure that my prices were reasonable for people so that way I was affordable enough to help them, but I also could take care of my basic needs too. But to answer it more holistically, when I constantly, after I helped somebody and I helped them and I did it for free, I started noticing they kept cussing me out for helping them for free. Why aren't you charging? Yeah. No. Why are you not charging me? Yeah. Like, I would gladly pay this amount of dollars for this. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to help, because I grew up trying to help community out. Right. But then when people start cussing me out for not charging them, that's also, okay, maybe I need to create a model for what I do. So that's when it was, when people told me to charge them. Because I would do my workshops for free. And the only time I did charge was for the Expo, when I do my annual book events. But that was because I needed to pay for the space. That's the only reason why I charged. Yeah. But yeah, that's
because I just feel like creatives, regardless of the medium, like, there's the creative aspect of it, right? So, like, in your case, it'd be writing, right? But then once you get into like the publishing side of things, then how to like get the products, shipped, and the whole the fulfillment of it and all. Yeah. I feel like that's a whole nother chapter of learning that you got to go through.
Yeah, man. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't give a damn about school, but then when I found something I'm passionate about, I love being a student. Yeah. So then I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe when I was growing up, if I was taught something that I cared about, maybe my academics would have been a little bit different. But that's another conversation, though. But yeah, like, once I went to that phase of turning it into a business, that's when I really started learning and like teaching myself the publishing industry, the book business. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, but you don't see that because it's not flashy. Yeah. Like, literally tens of billions of dollars get made every single year from self-publishing. I'm talking about just self-publishing. Wow. Like, tens of billions of dollars, Excuse me. And it's an industry that is still big enough for everybody to tap into. Because I tell my authors that I work with who worry about becoming Amazon bestsellers and New York Times bestsellers, I'm like, listen, all you need is 1,000 people to believe in your story. The thing about the average price of a hardcover book of like 80,000 word count is like $30. So imagine if 1,000 people bought your $30 book. You'll be good, right? Yeah. You should be straight. Right. And for like a children's book, because the economy is where it is right now, you're talking about between $15 to $17 for a hardcover picture book.
Mm-hmm.
1,000 people buy your picture book.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be good.
Yeah.
You'll be good. So that's why I stay authentic and find your 1,000 people.
Mm.
And they'll buy your books.
You're right.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's like storytelling. So there's like a wide variety of stories you could tell as well, you know? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the world's too, like the fact that there's people who feel limited in their storytelling, I'm like, bro, the world is huge. There's plenty of things that you're interested in that you can write about that 1,000 people will invest their time and energy to read about.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then I'm not even talking about that. Now we're talking about the business side. They buy your book. What if you go on a speaking tour?
Mm-hmm.
To hear you talk about it.
Yeah.
You got that. Oh, what do they want? One-on-one mentorship. Or what do they do a podcast? Discussing your book.
Yeah. What was her name? Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Right. She launched it like, I don't know how much it's worth now, but it's a huge moneymaker where she essentially buys books and then sells them to movie makers pretty much.
Which is
to make movies out of them.
Which is a brilliant, stupid idea.
Yeah.
To buy the licensing and rights for books and sell it to Hollywood to make movies off of. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. But I bring that up because it kind of shows you like there's so much more that can come from what you're just creating.
Mm-hmm.
But now there is the element of you still got to keep writing.
Mm-hmm.
You still got to get better, right? It's no different than an artist dropping a hit album and then they got to follow up. Everybody wants a better album.
Yeah.
Right. So, I guess how do you go about that? Like trying to like detach from what was successful and like say, I got to create something new.
What I do, I write when it's important to me to write. Because I try to do it where I have to I should write out something every year. But if I don't feel strongly about anything that's going on, I can't create. So I feel that's the kind of creative I am. I have to create when I have something to say. Because all my books is me having something to say.
Yeah.
You know, like with The Family Jones and Eggs and Rex, I wanted to say, I love my daughter. This is my love letter to my daughter. My very first book, The Family Jones and Eggs and Rex. Why is Jane so mad? I had to say that I'm a legitimate author. I can do it again. And my third book, High Blue Sky, that book was, I wanted to pay homage to my best friend that I lost when she was 7 years old. Like High Blue Sky is, I miss you to my friend that I lost. And what happened with Charlie McClare, I had something to say about how I felt about the Mike Brown situation. And with the principle of justice, I wanted to have something to say that little black girls have always been queens and always been princesses. And so every time I have something to say, a book's going to come out.
I love that.
Lately, I've been helping a lot of people, so I have so much to say. I just haven't had time to say it yet. Because
you're helping others say what they got to say.
Yeah, and because I feel like all our voices need to be heard, and if people need to do it through a book, I'm here to help them out to do it.
Man, that's dope. So, speaking of helping people, what sparked the idea for the expo?
Man, when I was going through my process of learning how to write a book, I started thinking like, how many other people think this way or feel the same way as I do?
Right.
Like, I didn't want people to have to go through 2.5 years of research to publish one book. So I wanted to create an organization where I provided all the answers for people that wanted to self-publish, to avoid all the pitfalls. Because I forgot to mention this too. When I published my first book, The Family Jones and Eggs and Rex, I learned that there's two different types of self-publishing. There's, drop shipping, print on demand, and there's vanity publishing. Vanity publishing is people charging you to publish your book. And I didn't know you're not supposed to do that. I thought that's part of the game. I didn't know any better, right?
Yeah.
So for The Family Jones and Eggs and Rex, I spent $3,000 to publish my book. Which I was like, okay, that's part of the game, right? You're supposed to invest in yourself. But then when I learned, I was like, ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, when you know better, you're like, what?
Man, I could have got a car, bro. But not
$3,000 lesson right there.
$3,000, pretty much $3,000 lesson.
Yeah.
So the fact that I went through that, I was like, okay, hey, you want to publish a book? Don't do that. You don't have to do that. This is how you can publish your book.
That's important.
Yeah. So that's what the SUBE came from.
Yep.
Is to share knowledge and information to those that want to go that route, but to avoid the pitfalls that I went through to get there. Okay. And also at the time too, and I'm proud to say this, and people could fact check me if they want to. I'm proud to feel and know that I'm the only in the first Black-based book expo in Seattle.
100%.
Yep.
100%. And just to add on to that, bro. just from seeing the beginning of it,
Yeah.
like year over year it was growing
Yeah.
in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
Right. So what was that like? Right. Because I feel like, I don't know, man. There's nothing like that out here.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do that. And I think there's something to be said for people who create things that are supposed to be like a greater resource to a bunch of others, right?
Right.
Because you're already doing your thing. You don't have to do that.
Right.
So what was it like to see that grow over time?
It just made me feel good. And I felt good because it was an opportunity for other writers to be seen. You know, I wasn't thinking about myself. I was thinking like, you know, a couple of people who've rocked with me from day one, giving them an opportunity to feel like their story is validated. You know what I'm saying? And let me make sure I speak clearly. I'm saying that I was the first one to do it. I'm not saying I'm the only one doing it now, because since then there's more black book-based organizations that's been popping up. I'm just saying I was the first one to do it. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I don't want to say I'm no little Richard Rant or nothing like that. But
Kanye Rant.
You're right, Kanye. Oh, please no. The Kanye West of literature. No. So it just makes me feel good, man. Like, I love when I do the expos, just sitting back and watching, and then seeing like you talking to somebody about your book and having a good ass conversation. You're motivating. You're showing people where they can go to buy the whole series and stuff like that. I love that, because also what I'm realizing too, it's not because of the creative side, it's also the business side. So now you created another avenue of income for yourself. Yeah. Like, you know, I've paid bills with my book sales. That's a blessing. When there's been days where I'd have no money coming in, and then all of a sudden I get a call like, "Hey Jeff, we want to order 10 copies of your book," and that helps save the lights. You know, and I'm not the only one that felt that way. There's been other authors too where, oh man, I ain't got no money, but my daughter's hungry, or I ain't got no money, but my son needs to go to the hospital. Let me just blah up these books real quick. Or I had situations where authors were literally relying on my expo to pay rent. Wow. Yeah, and they told me, and they would show me their sales, and then they show me how much their rent was, and the fact that their sales at my expo covered their rent.
That's impact.
That's
impactful, man.
Like, you know, so that's why I took it as a badge. Like I take it as like as honor. I take it as a badge of honor.
Yeah,
I'll say it like
the
that.
responsibility we were talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dope. So, I also want to ask, like, as an attendee, like, if I'm not an author, like, what's the experience over there like for me?
Oh man, we're gonna have a good time. Like I try to help my book expos as a family reunion. You know, with music, food, activities for the kids, and even if you're not gonna buy a book, at least once you're comfortable enough to chill. Yeah, like this is your daily event. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll go there, sit down, you'll see somebody you know, like you haven't seen in years, and then you just chop it up with them. I'm like, oh man, what kind of book you got? Blah blah. Oh, that's what. And then they'll bring you over to that author. Like, oh, I didn't know your book's about that. Blah 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 blah. And another thing too, as an attendee, you're going to find a story that relates to your life story, that connects with it, that speaks to you. Yeah. And even if you don't buy the book, you're going to have the conversation about why that person wrote that way. And maybe that might spark something in you to make you want to write a book yourself. Yeah. Because the one thing I know why people keep doubting themselves, but your life story is interesting. Everybody's life story is unique, and everybody's life story needs to be heard. It needs to be heard. It doesn't have to be any kind of elaborate world building, you know, like what's that one, you know, like Harry Potter. I always keep using Harry Potter. It doesn't have to be that grandiose, but it still is special enough for somebody will listen to it and read it. Yeah. You know? And that's what I've seen people experience in my expos, what's been shared with me about my expos. Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Definitely painted the picture for me.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, man. I just think building a platform that's gonna help uplift others, man. Like, it's needed. Yeah, it's needed.
And I will be honest with you guys. I did take a break because I did get burnt out. I got burnt out almost. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Keep it a buck. We're on the UpNUp Podcast. You gotta keep it funky on here. I was about to quit. I was about to quit. I was about to quit last year.
So you guys got up to about 450 in attendance.
We're over 1,000.
Over 1,000, right?
Yeah,
okay.
1,000.
So see, I'm underselling it.
No, you're fine.
Was it because it got so big?
No, it's because I didn't properly scale it. You know, when your business grows, you got to scale it, and I didn't move with the growth of my business. You know, and it was just me. Like I was just doing it solo because I kept believing that I can keep doing it under the same model. Yeah, and I started getting burnt out. Like it went from doing the annual events And then I started hosting workshops, and the workshops were doing well. Then I started partnering with different literary organizations like Seattle Public Library, King County Library, all these different bookstores. And then I started having people hire me specifically, like wanted to be their literary coach. And then I did a deal with Third Place Books, where now we're offering an option for book promotion services, where people who invest in their services will have their books promoted through Third Place Books in Seward Park. So my business was growing, but I wasn't growing. And it was hurting. I was like, I'm done. I'm burnt. I can't do this. I did a whole Facebook, like an Instagram announcement, like, hey, y'all, this is the last blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to quit. And I love this whole thing. I was all getting teary-eyed and shit. And then, you'll probably get into this later, but then I got saved. I got saved by Axon Stage Theater. And they decided to become the foundation that I needed to scale it properly, so that way we can get back out there and help the people the way we can.
Okay. Timing.
Yeah, timing. It's all about timing.
Timing, man. But that's such a, I love that you touched on that, man, because I think that's an amazing lesson that people can learn, where there's a difference between like professional growth and personal growth. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like they have to be working in tandem. You know what I mean? Because sometimes this could shoot up and you're not growing, you're not maturing, you're not maybe detaching from things that are holding you back, like, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of that I feel people maybe holding people back.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times the things they're doing are working fine, but it might just be you.
Yeah. It's about having that self-awareness to know, oh, I need to grow. Because what my idea is growing, but I'm not growing with my idea. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you start getting irritated at your dream. Like, man, this is your dream, and you're getting mad at it, you know, because you're not going through the necessary personal development steps you need to take in order for you to grow along with your dream.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And you got to share your dream too.
Yep.
Like, I that's what I had to learn the hard way. Like, I can't keep hoarding my dream to myself. I have to share this idea with other people in order to see it maximize its capabilities. Yeah. You know? And that's the lesson I learned when I got burnt out. So.
And I think it's like, it's okay to take a step back. I think that's a good message for, like, you know, instead of like somebody just keep like kind of like forcing it. Sometimes you take a step back and then you see the whole thing. Yeah. And then you kind of reevaluate, you know. So
that's exactly what happened to me. Because the last time I did an event was last December in 2023. Okay. 2023. So like almost, I want to say 6 months. Okay. I haven't done anything. Yeah. It's because I had to take a step back. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm done. But then when I got saved, I was like, okay, now I got time to look back and see what is the SUBE? Like, what is this for real? And I remember what it was. It's the people. Like, I want to help our literary community be seen, be heard, be read, and be shown. Yeah. And I got back to roots. And now that's why what I'm doing, I'm planning on reintroducing the Seattle Book Expo to the community. There you go. Reminding people what we're here for. We're here to publish as many stories, help people publish as many stories as we can. Yeah. We need to fill up all the bookshelves.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about that too is what needs to be applauded is the foundation that's been built, because I think you can take a step back for a second when you have a foundation. No, see what I'm saying? Because now it's like, I already got the foundation, but I got to take a step back. This ain't going nowhere, right? So now you can come back to a better version of yourself, whatever the case is, and now take it to even better heights, new heights.
It's exactly.
That's dope.
And I love Acts on Stage for swooping me up and saving me, because now I'm like, I can help people again. Yeah. I can help people again.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's dope. I also want to touch on Cotton 54. Oh yeah. So let's talk pretty much, if you want to explain that.
Oh man, Cotton 54 is a fundraising vehicle for another childhood dream of mine, which is on my own arcade and bar. How did Cotton 54 come about? So while I was doing at Seattle Book Expo, hosting these events, people start asking me to host events for them. And I never considered myself an event planner. I just knew how to do a book fair, right? Yeah. That's all I knew. But then people was like, hey, Jeff, help me do a networking mixer for mental health therapists, or I want to do a professional mixer. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck to do that shit. And it's like, but since you're a homie, let me try. And then when I started visualizing, I was like, oh, try this. Let's get this. Let's get this caterer. Let's get this DJ. This is the kind of mood you want, blah, 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 blah. And those events went well because I was scared because these were non-book events. So I was stepping outside of my comfort zone. Yeah. And then when I started noticing the success and people would start enjoying them, I'm like, okay, bet. Boom, boom, boom. And I mean, I was on the phone sharing with you. I don't know what happened. I was like, okay, I just don't want to do this just to do it because the city's oversaturated with club promoters. No knock against y'all, but there's a lot of club promoters, a lot of event planners in the city. I was like, okay, SUBE has a special meaning to me for me doing that, right? Why would I do an event planning venture? And then all of a sudden, like I shared with you on the phone, it's just like arcade. Yep. Like, what? And I was like, okay. And then I remember my 10th birthday, I went to Funplex. And it was Magnolia. It's a Staples now. And that was like the best experience of my life, man. I had all my cousins there, had the video games, had the go-karts, had the ball pool, had everything. And I love that feeling. And then I remember that when me and my daughter hang out, we'll go to an arcade in Renton and just kick it with $20. That's all you need. You know, $10 for arcades and $10 for smoothies. That's all you need. You know what I'm saying? For a good hour. Yeah. And I was like, man, I would love to have that. I would love to do something like that for people. And I was okay, cool. So Cotton 54 is a fundraising vehicle for me to own my own arcade. And all the events that I do is going towards that dream. And that's why all my networking events have a game element to it. Like the Love Social, which we just did, it's a networking game night. And I always try to have different types of games each one. Like I might, I have jumbo Uno cards. Or I might have a toy archery thing in points or the giant Jenga. And because I want that element of having fun, but I also want to present a safe environment for people who go out, but they don't want to go out. They just want to be outside, but they don't want to have to drive all the way downtown or drive all the way to Tacoma to kick it. And it's something in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And another game thing that I did was Guess That Groove, which is a variation of Name That Tune, but with our music. And I'm just using that because I want to get people used to the idea that I'm doing games, Jeff, games, because I want to own an arcade. Gotcha. And when I have this spot, this is what you expect 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm building towards. So that's what Cotton 54 is. I'm creating meaningful meetups. I'm going to have social gatherings and interesting interactives. And that's what Cotton 54 is.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
You know what I love, bro, is you're never going to stop dreaming, it seems like. Like, it seems like no matter what, you're always staying connected to that child.
Yeah.
Right?
I owe my child a lot. I owe my childhood a lot.
Yeah.
My childhood is what got me here.
That's a lesson, man. Yeah. I feel like we all should definitely take a page out of that book.
Yeah. Because the thing when we were children, right, we didn't know no better. We was just going off of what felt right to us, and then society stripped the innocence away from us. Society told us, don't do this, don't do that. But then what happens when you become an adult, you realize, like, oh, I could have done that. Who told me not to didn't know any better. So now that I know better, let me try that now. Oh, shit, I'm dope as fuck at that. Like, dang. Don't fall for that. You're like, dang, I should have did it when I was a kid. Like, no, you're here now. It's all about timing. You're in your 30s, you're in your 20s. You can do it now. Take advantage of it. So pretty much what I'm doing now is just repaying my childhood's creativity. Because all the things I'm doing now is things I've always wanted to do when I was a kid, but I wasn't in the environment or the time wasn't right for me to explore those things until now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just repaying back my childhood's creativity.
It's never too late.
Never.
Never too late. Yeah. That's what I'm getting from this.
No, it's never too late. And also, who told you it was?
Yeah.
Who told you it was like, no, you're too old? Who said that? And also, whoever told you that, should you really be taking advice from them?
That's a good point.
That's my perspective on it.
Mic drop.
My thing now, bro, I'm noticing a lot of gray hairs. I ain't got time. I got gray hairs coming in, bro. I got time to waste, man. I got to knock these things out, man.
No, but I just think it's important to to lean into that, and it's like, okay, like maybe you don't want to do that, right? Maybe you just try it though. Yeah. I think that's what I'm getting from this. Like, you just got to try.
Yeah. I call it just your fuck it button. Just push your fuck it button. Because one of my biggest fears, and I heard this story from somebody, right, is when you're like 80 or 90 years old and you're in the old folks' home. You already know, I know and you're sitting there just reflecting on your life. How many regrets do you want to take with you to the grave? I'm not trying to take no regrets. I'm trying to sit back smiling like, I did that. I went there. I tried that. Yeah. You know, I danced over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you know, like I fully accepted the blessing of having one life. Really is. Mm-hmm. You have one life. It's not like Mario where you can see that you got 5 extra lives right there. So you're not as nervous about jumping over that little pitfall because you got 5 lives. You can start getting nervous, right, when you have one life left, and you start getting nervous about every step that you take. So that's the blessing when you start taking things seriously, but also you appreciate every step that you take too. You know,
there's a quote where it's like, I'd rather say I can't believe I did it than I wish I did it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah, I love that.
I like that. Look at it, you just dropping quotes.
Oh man,
quotes.
Should have saved that.
Save that for the next episode. Nah, that's a good one.
No, y'all should have a quote wall. A quote wall that's write all the quotes on the wall. Like every single episode, just write a quote on the wall. That'd be dope.
Okay. We got a lot of quotes to pull from. Right. Yeah. So Jeff, man, this has been amazing, but I do always want to give guests a chance to kind of just touch on, like, what do you see, what excites you for the future? Like, when you look out, when you look ahead, we obviously know what's going on now, but, like, what excites you for the future?
Man, reintroducing the Seattle Book Exchange, owning my own arcade, still hosting great events for Cotton 54, my acting career, getting that started. I'm just excited for what's going to happen next, man. I'm really excited of where my creativity is going to take me, you know, because now I truly trust my creativity now. And I love the fact that what I do is a benefit for people. Like, people enjoy what I do. Like, I'm glad that what I do doesn't harm nobody or cause pain. I'm really happy that it doesn't. Even though I wouldn't do it intentionally, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't intentionally try to hurt people. But I'm just happy that what I do, people view it as joyful, like harmonious, and fruitful. So I'm happy. I'm just excited about that. Like, just doing these different projects, different events, and different ventures. That's what I'm excited about.
I love that.
Man, yeah, that's dope. So how can, like, people get involved with, like, everything you're doing? Like, where can people find you and stuff too?
So I just launched the Cotton 54 website. So it's cotton54.com. The Seattle Room Book Expo is Seattle, SUBE-Seattle.com. My personal website is jeffcheatham2.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, which is Channel Cheatham. Facebook, Jeffery Cheatham. Yeah, just follow me and just support. I'm gonna promote it, so you'll see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the support. And also, for my fundraiser for my arcade, just go on Cotton 54 and click on the tab Our Mission, and it goes to the story about what Cotton 54 is all about, and there's a button right there that people could donate to the fundraiser. You know, and that's how I'm doing it. I'm currently looking through grants and all that stuff. I'm just trying to build the support and momentum from the community, so that way when it launch, people know, okay, it's Cotton 54, it's Jeff's arcade. Okay, what we've been experiencing with Jeff so far. Now it's gonna be at the arcade now, so we're gonna be sweet. We're gonna be good.
It's kind of like we were talking about. You letting people be a part of the process of building it up, so they feel like they had a hand in it too.
Exactly, because that's how I feel with the Seattle Book Expo, Seattle Book Exchange. Excuse me, I'm getting used to the name too. Same thing with that. Like, people were a part of the process. People, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people saying, "Oh, I like what you're doing," or "I think it's dope." "Oh, I need help," or "I see value."
Like that person who shows up. You know, when the numbers weren't where they were. You know, like, that person is just as important.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, definitely. Now, before we get you out of here, brother, we always ask every guest this one question. So if you can, what's one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up, and why?
I knew this was a question. I was ready.
You should have known.
You should have known. Can you ask me that question one more time, brother, please?
What's one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up, and why?
Jocelyn. That's my daughter. Jocelyn keeps me going, like, my daughter. Because right now she's in musical theater, and she's in her creative bag. She's writing a book as we speak, and she's 15. And I know most of that's because of what she's seeing her daddy do. So the long as my daughter keeps telling me, "I love you, I'm proud of you, I'm happy," or keeps correcting my grammar because of my writing ability, ain't nobody stopping me.
There you go.
Yeah. So Jocelyn's the word that keeps me fired up and keeps me on up and up.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Nice. That's amazing. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Jeff, man, like I said, I'm sure the listeners and viewers are going to appreciate this one because it's an amazing story. It's your story. And thank you for sharing that with us, bro.
Thank you for giving me the platform to share this, man. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you all so much.
It's long overdue, man. Like we were talking about, like, you know, we go back, man.
We go way back.
We go back, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely an honor, man.
Yeah, 100%,
appreciate y'all, man.
100%. Now, with that being said, I think it's safe to say Jeffery Cheatham is officially a member of the UpNUp. Can we get him?
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thank y'all, man. Thank you guys. And thank you guys, too. Appreciate you guys for doing this.
To continue supporting the podcast and the entire UpNUp movement, be sure to rate, review, like, and subscribe.
As well as follow us at _ the UpNUp on all social media platforms to stay connected with everything the UpNUp has coming your way.
Thanks for listening, and until the next one,
keep it on the UpNUp.